So that was incredibly moving. So this all happened because of a lot of the community coming together and doing lots of things. And we're going to talk about how it got funded. And we have a lot of people to thank for the efforts that they put in. And I'm going to ask Lauren, who we co-chaired this together through, I think, about 6 years.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 years.
Yeah.
And I would just say that, we wouldn't have gotten here without you. And Lauren's brought an optimism and a spirit of figuring out how to do it, no matter what it is, including some stuff today, and has been incredibly creative. And I think, I also think, one of the things we heard from donors when we started this whole thing is we want to. There's people who've donated before, and they wanted to know that donations were going to come from the younger generation. And Lauren's done an amazing job of working with folks who are younger than people with lots of gray hair, and bringing that part
I have some now too.
So anyway, I'm going to let Lauren kick us off here,
Yeah.
and we're going to go back and forth a little
Thank
bit.
you, Alan. So, just a note about Alan. So, 6 years ago we started and we became partners, and, we have a lot of commonality that I don't know if people would have known from the beginning. I don't know if we would have known it from the beginning, but you've been just an incredible partner and a wonderful co-chair, and I've learned a lot from you, and I really just have enjoyed this 6 years, so thank you. Watching what goes on tonight with everybody singing and playing the violin and the beautiful artwork, I feel really, really untalented. And I'm just like, but what I can do is raise money. So, it was definitely a daunting task from the beginning. Originally, we started with a $4 million goal, and that was in 2019 when we worked with professionals that said, this is what you want to do, this is how much things cost, this is what we got back from the feasibility study. We think this is a good goal. And quickly, COVID came, supply chains kind of, everybody, you're nodding, we all know. And that quickly got bumped up to 5 million. And then that got bumped up to a little bit more. And I am shocked that when we kept calling, you guys kept answering your phones. So I'm very appreciative of that, because that's a big deal, right? The thing that I learned the most throughout these past 6 years, because of course this could be a passion project, right? When you think of things like what this building could look like, what this sanctuary could look like, all the gorgeous, wonderful things with meaning and purpose, what all that could be, how do you say, no, I'm not going to be a part of that? But the thing that really has stuck with me these past 6 years is every conversation I have had with most of the people sitting in this room. And not only that, outside of this room, people that couldn't make it tonight. Not one person said, you know what, no thank you. Maybe they said, you know what, I don't know how I can help. It's not going to look like how everybody else could help. Maybe it looks a little different, but what can I do? And that was a big deal, that every single person did what they could to contribute to this capital campaign. And what you see outside of this wall is a beautiful art piece that is still in the work of trying to figure out what that's going to look like at the end, a beautiful work in progress. But it will have every single person's name who contributed to this. And not only financially, not only through blood, sweat, and tears, but also by just talking to everyone else, communicating with everyone else, and believing in what we all set out to do 6 years ago. It has been incredible. It has been inspiring. It has kept me going for 6 years. It has only made me cry a few times, but I have. But it has been really wonderful. And so tonight is just a small way we can thank all of you for really helping us make this come to be. We had 336 donors to the Capital campaign. That is huge. I don't know if everybody knows about capital campaigns or have done fundraising before, but to have that kind of percentage of a congregation or any kind of company or institution is incredible, absolutely unheard of. And so the fact that everybody stepped up and leaned in has been incredible. We had 75 donors over our high level, which if you had to guess, that would be 18,000, just if you were wondering. And then again, in our terms of what we've seen throughout the evening and what we've heard throughout the evening, there really hasn't been anything that we have done that hasn't had a purpose or a meaning to it. And so what you'll see is in our donor recognition levels, all of those are named after the part of a tree. So you will see there's a seed, seed, root, high, vine, crown, canopy, tree of life. So you will see that all of that kind of stems back to all of the different spaces where we're bringing the outside in and nature in. We also wanted to say a specific thank you to our 2 honorary co-chairs, Gail White and Lisa Silversheen. So without them,
Where's
really...
Lisa?
Is Lisa here?
She was here.
She was
There
here.
she is.
Where is she?
She could wave.
Hi, Lisa. So the thing about Gail and Lisa is what's really hard to do when you are a fundraiser is asking people to kind of buy in
Get us started.
on a wing and a prayer, right? It was really just a concept. It was an idea. We went to them with, hey, we're thinking about something like this. What do you think? And both of them said, we see it, we feel it, we believe it, go get it. And without them, without starting, without you being really the first people to get this up and going, we wouldn't be where we are now. So thank you so much. Yeah,
Okay. So one of the unique features of this campaign, which I wouldn't say we knew we were going to do, like many other things, was we created mini campaigns. And I think the thing that is really special about these mini campaigns is it allowed us to honor members of our community, both those who are here and those who have passed. And it allowed us to just tap in very unique ways to bring communities together. And I know in one case, I'll just share, I know Ellen learned she was a fundraiser as we worked hard to do the campaign in memory of Jim Judd. And Jim, so Jim was a stalwart here and helped us enormously on our financials and buildings, and certainly was a great partner in men's club activities. And it's wonderful that we've been able to honor him. We've been able to create a music corner in honor of Janet. And I'll tell you, the folks who really headed this up, thanks Felicia and Costa, and I don't know if Alani, and yeah, thank you so much for heading that up. Like you guys did a great job, but the easiest money we could raise here was in honor of Janet Montfroy. So Seth Haubenstock couldn't make it tonight, but we were able to also raise funds in memory of Martin Haubenstock, and and I think Martin did a lot of things here, but he was part of the Pattersonian generation, and I I was trying to figure this out last night with Alice. I think the Haubenstocks go back 4 generations here. So it was a really great way to honor our history. And then we were able to raise funds in honor of Sarah Loesch, who was is Sarah and Jorge here? I don't know. Okay. Was a longtime educator and got our preschool up and running. And I know Sarah's Friday morning Shabbat parties were a core memory for many. And so we've been able to honor Sarah in one of the many campaigns. And then the other one was in honor of Deborah Freelander. And I think it was a way for us to honor the whole Freelander family in addition to the Ner Tamid, and we named the Barney Lounge in their honor. And Rick and Debbie, thank you for heading up the fundraising for that. So we just wanted to share what a special honor it was to create these little mini campaigns and to be able to honor key folks.
Another group that we want to thank is our steering committee, many of whom are here this evening. So a steering committee, as most of you know, is a group of people who basically get together and do a lot of the heavy lifting, basically all of it. So the way that our steering committee functioned was for about 5 years, we met every month, maybe sometimes twice a month. We did a lot of it virtually during COVID and all of those times, and we really relied on them and leaned on them to help us think about ways to structure things and to get the community involved and to really reach out to our congregants and how we get everybody excited and involved and invested. And they spent a lot of time, just a real, I'm just thinking back to it, and the countless hours. You're talking, over the course of 5 years, multiple times a month. It's a lot of time, and they did so without question. They did so without complaint. Everyone joined all the time, and it was a really wonderful group of people that represented different demographics of our community, and it felt like everybody was really well represented, and we could not have done any of this without them. And I also appreciate all of their partners and children and friends and family who waited to have dinner until they were done, or had dinner with them, off camera, because we all kind of met kind of late as well. So I really do appreciate, and kind of, ducked down in the background when they walked past. So thank you to everybody who participated, and Alan will go through the list.
So just a little touch on a little bit of things. So Craig and Elizabeth, thank you for your incredible support, even when you weren't sure we were really going to be able to raise the money. And it was always they were always there to support and kind of keep a positive approach to this. Felice and Andrew are our secretary and treasurer. Felice did an amazing job of keeping the books without a lot of infrastructure here, and created her own spreadsheets and didn't get too annoyed when I screwed them up.
Alan and I messed them up twice, so we're not allowed to touch the spreadsheets anymore.
And fix that, so thank you. Sephora Schwartz, thank you for your wisdom and your sharp editorial pen and your willingness to go and ask folks for money in your generation, and we really greatly appreciated that. Marianne was incredibly positive and always came with a willing spirit and got to do things she never thought she would do, and was great at just being a positive influence for all of us and being willing to go out and do things you hadn't done. So thank you so much. Peter Von Holly is not here tonight, and so he was actually probably the most experienced fundraiser in the group, and periodically would say, slow down, like we can still do, like before we start pulling new stunts, that like he was like, slow us down. And he was just always a voice of wisdom, and that was great. And Rabbi Steiner. So she was great at always keeping our focus on why we were doing this, and was an extraordinary fundraiser in her own right and her own ability. And it was particularly because she could listen to what the needs were of the donor and match it to what the needs were of the synagogue. And it was, we wouldn't have done this without you. So thank you so much for your insight. And that steering committee is really why we're sitting here today. So we thank you.